The Constitutional Court has declared a section of the Electoral Act as unconstitutional. Now, this paves the way for independent candidates to contest provincial and national elections. Until now, only political parties were allowed to do so.
It is declared that the Electoral Act 73 of 1998 is unconstitutional to the extent that it requires that adult citizens may be elected to the National Assembly and provincial legislatures only through their membership of political parties. 5. The declaration of unconstitutionality is prospective with effect from the date of this order, but its operation is suspended for 24 months to afford Parliament an opportunity to remedy the defect giving rise to the unconstitutionality. 6. The Minister of Home Affairs must pay the applicant's costs in the High Court and this court, such costs to include the costs of two counsel. I hand down the judgment.
Well, the ruling has been welcomed as a win for democracy and accountability.
South Africans has been given some of the weakest and the most corrupt leaders up to this point. And for that reason, this is critical, that democracy ultimately wins. Because now, finally, individuals in this country will have an opportunity to stand and to keep those that they have elected accountable. These guys that we currently have in Parliament and in political offices all across the land, these guys are simply a law unto themselves. They are not accountable to the people, and this is what this judgment does. It brings accountability back, and it gives democracy, the heads up. We will never be, under the mess that we are currently in. Finally, we have an opportunity to rid South Africa of incompetence and corruption.
In other words, when you vote for a party, you don't necessarily have the power to, when a party appoints or elects someone to be in the National Assembly, you may like the principles of the party but not necessarily the person. But when you choose an independent person, that person is working for, so because the next time, if he's not doing what you as elected him for to do, you're not going to elect him again. So people will, in other words, instead of going what a party tells you to do, you will hopefully look after the people that voted for you. So those principles are important to you, and there comes the accountability. So it's hopefully it will allow for people to vote for someone that stands for exactly the same principles, but will also look after their rights.
It sets on course democracy for South Africa. It restores the very value that says it's always by the people and for the people. It deals a decisive blow to state capture, because state capture emanates from party capture. It's when people capture the party and then they capture the state and then they vote unanimously on whatever they want. And ultimately, it gives accountability back to communities. So to me, I welcome the judgment. We fought hard as One South Africa movement and New Nation movement have led the process to say we want to see electoral reform. And this begins a 24-month journey upon which ultimately adults in this country who are not criminals, who represent their communities, can finally be able to stand up for public office without following the traditional party route and say accountability is to the people and they can serve citizens in their community.